Hello and welcome back to my Pokemon version 2 tutorial series, and think of get a fix, guys. So you guys had this, or I had this delay over here, and it was set to 0.01, so it was just phasing out too fast, I think. So I moved the delay over to here, so only after the delay we'll set the location of it, and we'll set it to teleport, and impact point will be the new location. Alright, so then what we need to do is go to our viewport, go to our spring arm and set use pawn control rotation, set basically all of those to full, and then we're going to go to this target offset and we're going to set this to 95, and then we're going to go to our camera and we're going to rotate it down a little bit and compile, and now this should be working. Let's actually rotate the camera up a bit, but it is working, so let's just rotate the camera to where it was. Okay, so there's our Pokeball. So show us in the world where our Pokeball is going to land, and yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We can throw it against a wall or whatever. And while we're aiming, I think we're going to use an aiming animation. So we're going to go Pokemon animations, play animations, locomotion, and again to this throw object animation. And what we're going to do is duplicate it, and we're going to call this aim, and we'll open it up, and then basically we want to get like an aiming pose, so I think that'll do. So we'll remove from frame 0 to 124, and then we'll remove from frame 23 to 500 and something, or all of them basically is what we want to do, from 0 to 23, and then it's just a pose. Okay, so compile, and we want to go to our blueprint, not Oak's blueprint, sorry. What we want to do is go to our player's blueprint, so go to anim graph red and open up red's anim graph, and we'll go over to our actual anim graph and open up this new state machine, and right in here we're going to bring in this aim animation, and we will connect that now. We're just going to go to our player base. We've actually already set that up, so we'll go back to the animation graph event graph, and off of our player base we're going to drag off and say get aiming, and we'll promote it to a variable, and we'll just call it aim. Aiming then without a question mark, and plug that in. Alright, compile, and then we'll go to our new state machine, and now we can do this aiming pose. So we can go into the transition, and if we want to go into it we'll be aiming, and then if we don't we'll just say not, so not boolean, and plug that into the result. Okay, so now if we're aiming we should pull off that animation. There we go. Pretty cool. But now we want to stop his movement from happening when we're aiming, so drag back here a little bit, and we'll get our character movement. We'll say set max walk speed to 0, and we'll just duplicate it, and we'll set this, or when we come out of it we'll just call this function change locomotion. Okay, and then we'll still set aiming to false and carry on with the rest of our stuff. So now we're aiming. Oh, we should stop moving but we should also be playing our animation. Okay, so there's a little bit of issues here. We are going to go to our change locomotion. We're going to make another variable and call this changing speed, also of type bool. And right here we'll set this to true, or we'll actually just do a branch and we'll check it. Okay, and if it's false we'll go through, and we'll also set it to true. Okay, compile, and then at the end of it we'll set it to false on all of them, so we can just use one node. Okay, compile. So now if we are changing speed, we won't change speed, if that makes sense. Yeah, that should be fine. Also, we're going to add a slight delay over here. Delay 0.2 seconds, just the default should be fine. And now this should pick up a little bit better, and it's still not. I don't know why it's not going into our animation. Oh, it looks like I'm having problems today, guys. So if aiming is true, we should be aiming, and he should be in his aiming result. But I know what the problem is. Okay, sorry guys, my fault. So we'll go make another set of transitions here, do the same thing, just drag out. It's gonna be like a roundabout. So to go to it again, we need to be aiming, and to go out of it, aiming must be not true, so not boolean. Compile, and now we should actually be working. Let's get rid of that in our player base, the delay. You don't want a delay where you don't need a delay. And we'll push play, and there we go. Now it's working. So now we can aim, and then when we release it, we're going to play the montage. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So when we release it, before doing all of that, we're going to play our montage. So call Pokemon montage. Call Pokemon montage, and there we go. Compile, and now he should technically play montage. Ooh, there we go. Throwing his ball, great stuff. But now I like to make it look perfect, sorry. So let's go to animations, play animations, locomotion, and go back to our throw object, and we're actually going to throw it from here already. So remove from frame 0 to 124, and we need to actually make another montage because the other one's going to have the old data in it. So create a montage, throw v2 is what we'll call it, and now we'll just change that montage to the new one. So throw v2 and compile and play, and then now we're aiming, and we let go and he throws. Perfect. Okay, so a little bit more to do on this function, and then we'll do some cleanup and begin to add our ball being thrown and spawning the Pokemon. Alright, so we're going to drag back here again, and what we're going to do is get our static mesh, and we're going to say set visibility and duplicate it, plug in this target as well, and when we are aiming we'll set it to true, and when we aren't aiming we'll set it to false. Simple enough, nothing much to it. And yeah, so now we don't have it visible when we're not aiming, which is pretty cool. and we'll actually have a delay here called Pokemon montage. I wonder if we can even do this. You can't put a return node. But what we can do is take this function off of here and put it on here. Then we don't need any delays or anything like that. They will only start moving after we completed throwing our ball. So now we can't move, and we can't move, and now we can move again. Okay, so that's working fine. Now what we need to do is go to our Pokemon folder, meshes, character meshes, red, open up our red's skeleton. We're going to change the preview mesh to player red. Save, and then we'll go to his right hand and we'll right click and say add socket, and this we'll call Pokeball socket. Save, and then we'll add a preview asset of Pokeball, but the skeletal mesh this time. Okay, so now you can see that it's so small we can't actually even see the ball, so we're gonna make it a little bit bigger and move it around so it looks like it's actually in Red's hand. Okay, so I think the thumb actually presses the trigger, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that'll do. So there's this Pokeball, maybe a little bit large. We'll make it a little bit smaller. That way. And bring it up just a bit. And I think that looks about real. Okay, compile. So we can go to our player base. We're going to make another function. We're going to call this spawn Pokemon. Alright. So here comes our fun bits. Wonder if we've made a blueprint for Pokemon already. Blueprints, actors, Pokemon. Yes, we do. We have a base Pokemon. Okay, so what we're going to do here is spawn AI from class, and that class that we're going to spawn it from is not going to be our base character. It's actually going to be from our Pokemon bag component. So we're going to get that, then we're going to get our Pokemon bag, and we're going to get the first Pokemon in the bag, and then from this we're going to break the Pokemon info, and then we're going to plug in the Pokemon class. Alright, and hide unconnected pins, and we're just going to neaten this up slightly so we know what's going on here. And the place that we want to spawn this guy is going to be our hit location in the world from our aiming. So what we're going to do is, actually we won't even spawn it there. First we need to spawn our Pokemon. So we started on that function, we'll leave it like that. Now we're going to say spawn Pokeball. Alright, compile, and we're going to drag off of this and say spawn actor from class, spawn actor from class, and the class that we're going to spawn it from is going to be our Pokeball class. So just a normal Pokeball, not the starter ball. And then we're gonna just drag off this transform and say make transform, because it doesn't matter where we really spawn it. Always spawn, ignore collisions. And then we're gonna attach it to a component. We might as well actually just spawn it at the right location. Why not? We'll get our mesh, and we'll say get socket transform, and that socket is going to be our Pokeball socket. Okay, and we'll leave it at RTS world. I think, I don't know, we might change that. Okay, and then we're going to attach it to the socket. Yeah, we'll attach it to the socket, and we'll snap to target. Okay, compile, and that's how we spawn in our Pokeball. We just need to do one more thing here. We need to pull off the return value and say promote a variable, and we're going to promote call this Pokeball, and connect these pins. Disconnect that one, reconnect it, and we need a parent here, which would be iMesh, and compile. Okay, so we're going to spawn it and attach it to our hand. Right. So right here where we aim, we need to do that. So right off of here we'll say spawn Pokeball. Now it should be spawned into our hand. And the Pokeball will destroy himself, so we don't need to do that. But we will move it to somewhere. Alright. So we're going to go into this montage. So throw v2, and we're going to add a notify, new notify, and we're going to call this throw, and we're going to throw it right where we throw the ball, right about there. I think we'll be fine, and save. Then we need to go back to our anim graph, into the event graph, and say throw, call that anim notify, and what we're going to do is cast to our player base and get the player controller, and plug that in. Alright. Excuse me. Cast to player base will always fail. Why? Oh, I got the player controller. We need to get player character. We need to get rid of that. And off of our player base, right here, we need to call throw ball. So we need to throw ball to the static meshes location, right? Or rather, we'll promote this to a variable, and we'll call this ball location, and we'll also set that right at the end here. Okay, then we need to make one more function, and we're going to call this throw Pokeball. So I've slowed down a lot here, I need to think now. And when we call this function, we're going to get our Pokeball, and we're going to get a move, we're going to call a component move to component move to, sorry guys, I can't remember what this is called, move component move to component, what the fuck, sorry, delete the function, we need to do it in a custom event, I think. So move component to, yeah we do. Okay, so let's make a custom event, call this throw Pokeball. Then we're going to connect the execution pin to move, and the component that we're going to move is going to be our Pokeball. Well, we're going to get our Pokeball, and we're going to say get. We don't even have a mesh in there. So Pokemon, blueprints, actors, Pokeballs, Pokeball, and we need to add a mesh in here. Add component, skeletal mesh, and compile. Just set this to Pokeball, compile, and we can go back to our player base, and now we can say get skeletal mesh, and we can plug that into the component. That's the component we want to move. Okay, and we want to move it to this ball's location in the world. We're not going to worry about the rotation for the time being. That's just fun. And when it completes, we want to destroy the Pokeball, and spawn our Pokemon. So now, in the spawn Pokemon event thingy, we're going to spawn it at the ball location. And compile and save. Now we can not check this out yet. We haven't called this event anywhere. So throw Pokeball, we need to call inside of our anim graph, and we'll call it here. We'll say throw Pokeball. Okay, compile, and now we need to set our Pokemon's details for our first Pokemon, so we can just test this quickly, and then I think I'm going to wrap up for the day because my brain's hurting. Blueprints, components, Pokemon bag, and inside of our Pokemon bag we need to make that publicly editable. We'll go to our player base, and I will click on player self. Where it is. Sorry, we just need to click on the Pokemon bag. We need to add an element, and then the Pokemon name we're going to set to Charmander. The type will be it doesn't really matter about any of this stuff, but I'm just setting it anyway. Charmander. Pokemon's class, this is what matters, so we need to set that to base Pokemon, and we're not going to worry about the PC. Okay, now theoretically we should be able to spawn a Pokemon. Oh, what the flip? The player base instead of Pokemon base. My bad. Okay, so back here, not base character. We need to do base Pokemon, right? Compile, and now we should technically have a ball that goes to our aiming location, and then the Pokemon should spawn there. Yeah, so there we go. We're just going to change this move to component to time to something like 3. I guess that'll be okay. So it'll move over 3 seconds. So there we're aiming over there, and there it goes. Woo! It went crazy. What the fuck? Excuse me. We'll set it to 2 seconds. See how that works out. Push play. Okay, so our ball's a bit crazy. It was working when it was on 0.2 seconds, so let's leave it like that for now, and we're gonna come back to this. But pretty much we've got a Pokemon. We had a Pokemon spawning in the world. What happened now? Okay, so there we go. Spawn another one. Boom. And we'll add conditioning and get this working properly, but this is the gist of it. I promised you guys you would get Pokemon this time around, and you will, and you did. Okay, so we got a little bit of a problem, a little bit of issues, but it works if you throw it against a wall. I don't know why the floor's not picking up too well. But anyway, okay, so there it worked. That one worked. So here we are. Just remember to not aim. We got a big issue on that. But anyway, here's our Pokemon. We're gonna throw him out. Boom! There he goes. Cool. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. In the next video we'll do some more cool stuff.